Hey, I'm Felissa Rose, and you're watching Keto and Crime.
Hey everyone, welcome to Keto and Crime. Today I've got a quick little video for you on cryptocurrency. We see a whole lot about it in the news today. Buy it, don't buy it. It's up, it's down. Why and what is it? Well, basically, cryptocurrency is a decentralized alternative to normal money, which is known as fiat money. And it's up and down because of speculation. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But for now, let's jump into a really quick lesson on two things. One, fiat money versus cryptocurrency, and what the concept of the blockchain. And once we talk about that, we're going to come back and talk about why its value is all over the board and whether it's a good investment versus a bad investment. But that being said, let's jump into this. Hey everyone, welcome to my little tutorial on what is crypto. Let's talk about it. So back in the early days of commerce and civilization, you would have two people that wanted to make a deal. And they would very simply make a deal because they each produced something of value that they wanted to trade. For example, Ed, here on your left, might want to trade the paper from his paper mill to Jim on your right for a pen because he didn't have a pen. And that's kind of the way things went. Even swap for even swap. This is called a bartering system. And this is how civilization existed in the earliest days until civilizations became broader and more complex and the whole systematic institution of government came along. And when government came along, they said, no, 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 no. I don't recognize your paper as currency, so I'm going to make my own paper. And so they created what we know as our everyday, ordinary type of money. And these are concepts you're all very familiar with. You know, you got your quarters, your nickels, your dollar bills. But what makes these valuable? Well, it's a couple of different things. Basically, it's your faith in the government being able to uphold the values of this money that makes them money. However, in the early days of currency, you had something known as the gold standard. And what that simply means is that governments, here, especially here in the United States, had enough valuable precious metals, such as gold, to back up the value of their money. It was an even swap, dollar for gold, or silver, or some other precious metal that had innate value that had been used as currency for thousands of years, backed up the money. However, we got off that gold standard, and he decided that we needed to kind of move away from that, and we had the whole issue of the Federal Reserve and just the government itself insuring the money. So the money became what we know as fiat. And fiat means full faith and trust. And basically what that means is money is only valuable if it has the full backing and faith of a government. And that makes government very central. That makes money very, very central. It makes money almost paying homage to government. You have to pay homage to the government and believe in the government to be able to do their legal tender. However, you had certain industrious people that came along and says, I can do it better, such as Satoshi Nakamoto. And he was the inventor of Bitcoin. And I think you know Bitcoin as one of the number one cryptocurrencies. There are others, but it's definitely number one. And he created it as a decentralized form of money that everybody that used it shared in its wealth, shared in all the data that it extracted when you do transactions, because it is an online digital form of currency. And he said, I can do it better than the government. Here I go. And so Bitcoin. And with that, you have a whole lot of other types of cryptocurrencies that have sprung up and taken on this whole concept of blockchain, which is everybody shares in the knowledge, everybody shares in the wealth, everybody has full faith in others to use the currency, therefore making it a valid form of currency, whereas fiat currency relies instinctively on faith in a government. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin rely on faith that people are going to use it, and it operates off another concept known as blockchain. So one of the first things you have to consider after you understand what fiat currency versus cryptocurrency is the whole concept of blockchain. Cryptocurrency is a form of blockchain, which means decentralized, which means all the data in that chain is not controlled by one entity. Normally with stuff like regular fiat money, really anything in life, like an app store, anything that you do, the data that is derived from millions and billions of different actions is usually controlled by one entity in one database. So they have access to all that. That's the reason data mining is such a huge industry right now. But the whole concept of blockchain, of which cryptocurrency is a part of, is that no one owns that data. Everyone has the right to that data. So whereas data would go straight from the source of the data, whatever action you're taking to generate that data, it would go into a database owned by a company or a government or something like that that controls everything. With blockchain, the actions taken by either spending of a cryptocurrency, downloading an app, doing shopping, if it's on a blockchain, the data is basically shared in little blocks like you see here in front of you. These little blocks are all the computers of the people sharing that blockchain. And so when you spend cryptocurrency, when you download cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Dogecoin or anything like that, the entire history of those transactions, all the way back to the very first crypto, that particular type of crypto's transaction is then added to a general register that is now shared among everyone on that blockchain. And as more people come in, more chains in the more blocks in the chain are added, and they also share in that knowledge. So the data is accessible to everyone, and that's the reason that you see the U.S. government and other governments now taking an interest in things like crypto. Part of Biden's new tax plan is that he wants to now tax any transactions of crypto over $10,000 if you can trace the identity of the person. But the thing of it is that a lot of crypto is based on being anonymous. So it's going to be really hard for him to enforce. In fact, he's going to probably double the size of the IRS in hopes of being able to enforce that and some other things. It's not all due to crypto, but you now see governments moving, trying to basically tax crypto, which is totally the opposite of what crypto is there for. It's there to avoid such things. So that's the whole philosophy behind blockchain, crypto being a part of the blockchain. Okay, so as you can see, the whole concept of blockchain contains a whole lot more than just cryptocurrency, though cryptocurrency is definitely the block du jour, the block of the day sort of thing. But there are other things like, your Bitcoins, your library credits, which if you watch my videos on an online venue such as Odyssey, used to be called Library, I'm also over there, or that is a blockchain type of video hosting service, and you can tip people in library credits, which are a form of cryptocurrency. So same as your Bitcoins, your Dogecoins, any of that. Ethereum, which I know you've heard a lot about, is a blockchain version of an app store. So rather than having to bow down to Apple or Android, aka Amazon, or even Samsung, you can get your app. You can develop an app and get it on Ethereum, and if people want to use Ethereum, they can download it onto their phone or their computer and purchase your app from there. And just like I showed you with that diagram, all of the data, everything is shared among servers and computers owned by millions of people around the world. So it's not just owned by Apple, by Samsung, by Amazon. It's owned by everyone that participates. And the whole reason behind a lot of this is to take the power out of the elite's hands and give it back to the people, which is a very noble concept. However, the big issue with that is, how valuable are these things? It's only valuable in that we have the confidence that people are going to use it. So that in itself is why the value of things like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, like library credits, like Dogecoin, which Dogecoin was actually created as a joke, believe it or not. I mean, if you were just to take cryptocurrency and fiat money and withdraw the full faith that you have in either a government to back it or the people are going to use it and recognize it as currency in the form of crypto, it's all monopoly money. It's all fake. It's all kind of an enigma we live in. So it's just sort of comes down to, do you want to put faith in government to back it, and the people that take it as currency because they believe in that government, or over in the crypto side, the people that believe it's actual currency and will use it. So you're putting your faith in something. This is the reason that it kind of money, or a legal recognized form of tender, which is what money is, took the place of the barter system that people used to live off of. You would trade a chicken for some fruit, or some gas for a tire. That's very simplistic, but it was essentially that way. And so when we got off the barter system, the whole concept of something that everyone could recognize it as a similar value came around, and that's where we got money, both fiat and crypto. The reason that people like the blockchain is that it does take power out of the big tech companies or the big government's hands and put it back in the hands of the users, and that's a very noble thing. Also, unlike a lot of different online transactions. Cash, yes, cash can be used anonymously if you can disguise yourself. But if you look at any other type of digital payment, whether it's PayPal, credit cards, debit cards, anything like that, except for maybe an online gift card, we all know how well those work, though. It's pretty much, you have to give your identity so people know who's behind this transaction. With crypto, it can be 100% anonymous, and that's the reason a lot of people like it. But you have to remember that, yes, it does, just like cash, it can get caught up in criminal activity. Check out a lot of the great videos here on the Silk Road. Silk Road was one of the first major dark web websites to take crypto. I actually had a video on it, but I can't share it with you because YouTube removed it, saying that it was against terms of service. So there you go. But there are still some videos here on it. But basically, it was a online marketplace for just about anything that you can want, mainly drugs, and people used Bitcoin to pay for their orders. Given your ability, given your view on drugs, you can determine whether that's good or evil. But it's used a lot on what's known as the dark web, which we all know that what we're on right now, YouTube, Library, or Odyssey, BitChute, wherever you're watching this, it is surface web where everything's indexed. You can find it if you were to put it into a search engine. It's indexed. Underneath that, you have the deep web, which is the another part of the web, which is deeper, more unindexed. This is like private company intranets, things that you couldn't find, hospital records, that sort of thing, things you couldn't find on a normal search engine. And then beyond that, you have the dark web, which is totally unindexed websites that you can find as long as you get the links. So you have to use specialized browsers like Tor to be able to get onto the dark web, and you can't just go on there and Tor something and find it. You have to actually go on things like the dark wiki and other places and actually find links, or be invited by somebody that knows where these real life links are. And basically, you can find them that way. And those are the places where a lot of transactions with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies take place. Um, they're not physical money, not in the least. They are. It's digital currency, much like a credit card is digital currency. You're just moving money around. A lot more companies are starting to take Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which is going to reduce its ability to be anonymous. I have to admit, the more successful it gets, the less anonymous it's going to be. But basically, most cryptocurrency like Bitcoin is just countless strings of code that are basically broken and chained together by people called miners. And you can Google Bitcoin mining here on YouTube, and you'll find lots of videos on it. Lots of people make money doing it. Basically, as you string together certain lines of code, you are rewarded with percentages of a Bitcoin. And that's how those people make their money. So it's very complicated. I'm making it sound a lot more simplistic than it is, but basically these are math whizzes and coding whizzes that are making money this way by mining Bitcoin. They're not actually out there physically mining. So it's all pretty much a digital currency that's long strings of code that's shared on a blockchain. And the reason it's so volatile is it really relies on speculation, much like the whole stock market does. A lot of the reason the stock market goes up and down is speculation. We guess that this company's going to do this, their stocks are going to go up, this company's going to do that, oil's going to drop because of this. It's all speculation, and speculation is one of the most dangerous things in the world, but yet we all buy into it because by and large, investing in certain things is how you build wealth and how you build security for the future. So I don't think it's a trap we're going to get out of anytime soon, but that is the reason that you've seen such volatility with crypto, up and down. And even the creator of Ethereum, he says it's still, crypto's not going away, blockchain's not going away, but its value is going to be quite speculative in the future. So that's my whole little, crypto 101 uh, versus fiat 101 intro to you. I thought you would enjoy it. I certainly get into these sort of things. I hope you enjoyed it. And with that, I'm going to sign off, and until next time, Keto and Crime.